With the WandaVision season finale coming in just a few days, there are many theories out there that you should know about before the show wraps up. I'm going to be breaking down all the theories and speculations that have been circulating in the community when it comes to certain mysterious characters, like the truth about Pietro, the House of M storyline, and even the reasoning behind a Doctor Strange cameo. All these mysteries help build up to the ultimate finale of WandaVision. Did you know over 90% of you guys are actually unsubscribed? So if you enjoy breakdowns like these, as well as updates on movies, gaming, or pop culture, then consider subscribing to stay in the loop. Getting started, one of the most obvious red flags in the show is the introduction of Pietro, the fake Pietro Agatha mind controlled to get answers out of Wanda on how she created the entire hex. The casting of Evan Peters seems to be a huge implication at an X-Men tie-in with the multiverse, but certain quotes from Kevin Feige recently say otherwise. He recently stated that the casting of Pietro was just to mess with Wanda, but us Marvel fans know that there could be many deceptions in a cast and crew of a big Marvel project to keep huge reveals like this a secret. We last saw Pietro speaking with Monica in the backyard, and he could still possibly be under Agatha's mind control. Is this guy somehow pulled from an alternate reality like the X-Men universe, or is it really just a coincidence that he's someone that lived in the town and Wanda morphed into fitting her show? I feel like we'll be getting more answers on this on the next episode, but sources point to multiverse Pietro because Agatha is only using him as really her eyes and ears rather than creating him from nothing.
No, it wasn't literally me, just my eyes and ears. A crystalline possession.
Perhaps Wanda, in all her pain, pulled this guy from the multiverse because she called out to him and she needed a replacement for Pietro.
Well, and next thing I know, I heard you calling me. I knew you needed me.
Moving on to the huge influence of the show coming from a couple main comic books, and most notably the House of M storyline. So an incredibly fast summary: Wanda creates a false reality for herself, and when Charles Xavier and some other mutants are trying to stop her from this madness, she lashes out at Magneto, speaking out the words, "No more mutants" in the story. She made all the mutants lose their powers, and a red ribbon of energy surrounds the Earth. That's kind of the big takeaway and anything you need to know about for this next part. Now, we see with Monica that the Hex actually unlocks a dormant power within a person. So this could be maybe an X gene, or perhaps it's just dormant powers resting from within. Either way, the Hex still unlocks that when you go through the border. Now, a funny thought could be, if Wanda loses her children due to the disintegration, just like Vision when he stepped out of the Hex, that maybe she gets so sad and so mad, and she steps outside and says, "No more mutants," and expands the Hex to spread throughout the world, giving many people powers that had maybe that X gene dormant inside them for so long. So the influence of House of M would still be there, but it would essentially be the opposite of what she did in the comics, taking the powers away from the mutants and rather giving them powers. But in all seriousness, I do believe there will be an expansion of the Hex in some form, like we saw in episode 6. Another awesome detail in this show, we get a glimpse at the iconic Scarlet Witch suit from the comics. Now this time it's the actual suit versus a Halloween knockoff we saw in episode 6. The Mind Stone revealed to Wanda back in Sokovia what was perhaps her future, or maybe even an alternate version of who she is from another dimension. Now, Eric Voss from New Rockstar stated that he thinks this could be a trans-dimensional communication to almost close the loop of a character to ensure she becomes the Scarlet Witch in this time frame. Now, this would be through realities rather than a time loop in time. Do you guys think we'll ever get a true reveal at this suit, perhaps in Doctor Strange 2, or maybe even in the season finale? Or is it just kind of a reference to the comic book suit, and that's really all it is? Speaking of Doctor Strange and his appearance, we all know we've been waiting for a secret cameo that was teased by Paul Bettany for weeks now. Now, that theory could really be debunked, and he could have just been talking about himself as an actor that he's always wanted to work with, but we're still left wondering if Doctor Strange will actually make an appearance. Most likely he will in this finale, or maybe even a post-credit scene, but the reasoning why is the true mystery. Now, we know the Hex has many people held hostage and many government agencies are involved in this case, but that doesn't seem like a huge problem for the Sorcerer Supreme to handle. But one theory on why he would even show up could be a deal with an alternate version of another Mind Stone that was created from Wanda when she conjured up Vision from nothing. Now, this would make sense since Hayward was able to track the Vision in the Hex. This new Vision wasn't just a corpse walking around or just an illusion. He is real matter and actually real vibranium, and even another Mind Stone is created on his head. We learned from Endgame the stones have a flow of time that they follow, and this Mind Stone being in Westview, I don't think follows the correct path. Perhaps Strange could be there to rewrite time and put this stone back where it's supposed to be in another reality. Either way, it's exciting to think about the many reasons why he would be involved. Moving on, I'm sure many of you guys have heard about this one, but the absolute biggest theory out there is that a bigger bad guy is at play here, like Mephisto or Nightmare. There has been numerous hints to both of these characters, including name drops and callbacks to the comics. Now, could Agatha really be the only big bad here, or are we bound to get maybe a credit scene perhaps with a reveal for the villain for Doctor Strange 2? There's a huge comic book tie-in with Agatha actually being connected to Mephisto, and perhaps they could even do a combination of Mephisto and Nightmare just to blend the characters for the MCU lore. Either way, I think Agatha has been a phenomenal villain, and I think either way they direct it, it'll still be a satisfying outcome. Another huge mystery has been surrounding Ralph, Agatha's husband. Now, she has been referencing him throughout the entire show, and we have still yet to see a face of the name.
And let me tell you, what Ralph could really use is how to goose your wife. Are you sure you don't want an audience volunteer named My Husband Ralph?
Oh, Ralph sprays it on me every night, but there's no taming this tiger.
Ralph says I sugarcoat things, but...
Now, I don't think this is a throwaway, and perhaps Ralph isn't someone as important as Mephisto or Nightmare, but people are saying he could go back to Agatha's origins in the MCU version back in Salem. Perhaps he saved her in some fashion and is now giving her some sort of power that she uses in the show. Whatever the case, keep in mind, she always calls back to him, and I think we might get a reveal here coming very soon. Another smaller detail in the comics, Agatha Harkness is the mother of Nicholas Scratch. So could the bunny Senor Scratchy be a human in disguise that she keeps to herself and she's probably protecting her son? Or is it just like a nice little reference to the origins? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Some other theories are that perhaps Dottie could be a key player in this finale as well, but I doubt that considering Agatha could have just been throwing off Wanda in episode 2 when she did say she was the key to everything.
Dottie is the key to everything in this town. You get in with Dottie and it'll be smooth sailing from here on out.
Plus, Dottie did seem a little suspicious toward Wanda, interrogating her, but that could have just been Agatha as well, mind controlling her to get more answers. Now, lastly, when it comes to director Hayward, he has always seemed suspicious from the beginning, with the hexagonal shaped degrees on his wall to the random interest in Vision and his corpse. Now, I know he wanted to make him into a weapon, but speculation says, as wild as this one is, he could perhaps be Ultron in human form, which would explain his interest in Vision. Now, hear me out. We've seen in an Avengers cartoon, Ultron has taken the form of a human government agent before. This one seems like a stretch, and Hayward just might be a shady guy, but still perhaps he could be a malevolent Skrull in disguise waiting for his moment to strike, or perhaps he's just a bad guy who wanted to fear the most powerful Avenger and make a weapon to protect the world. Either way, he and Sword are bound to pop up in the MCU many more times in the future and be a huge presence for sure. Well, that's it for all the main theories and Easter eggs I've been keeping up with so far. Let me know if you have a theory that I missed down in the comments below. I'd love to hear all about it. We're going to be covering and reacting to the season finale of WandaVision, as well as full coverage on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I am incredibly excited for. So subscribe if you are looking forward to that. Follow us on all our social media down below, and we'll see you next time.